Fun fact about Lotus: they won their first 2 championships with Climax engines, but then they won their 3rd championship in 1968 with a Ford engine, and Ford would also win a further 3 championships after that, but with different teams. They won with Lotus in 1968, they won with Matra in 1969, they won with Lotus again in 1970, then they won with Tyrrell in 1971, then they won with Lotus again in 1972 and 3, but 4 and 5 lights are on, and we're away for retro racing, and the Jordan gets away well, the Brawn gets away well, the Jordan gets away kind of well, but not as well enough to get ahead of Devons. Heading into turn 1, they're side by side, round the outside for the Jordan, it's not going to make the move stick. Ghosting there, are they going to make it work? Heading through the Tamburello chicane, they're dancing on thin ice, but the Lotus gets ahead of the Jordan. Massive upset there, so there's front wing damage on the Jordan of Matty, as there's chaos at the back. One, the Mercedes going a little bit squirmish in the background, as going wide out of Toza. I think that looked like Lucky going a bit on the high side of Toza. Meanwhile, the Lotus battling the Brawn, and while Lotus technically did battle Brawn under the Renault name in 2009, this team now looking to maybe get ahead of the Brawn, and 2 teams that have won Constructors' Championships in Formula 1 are now battling at the front here in retro racing. Meanwhile, 2 cars behind that, the Benetton and the Ferrari, side by side as they go over the chicane, and they all go wide on the exit of the Turtle chicane. Meanwhile, the Brawn and the Lotus side by side into the first of the Ravazza apexes, into the second Ravazza. Side by side, there's contact at the back. I think that looks like maybe one of the Ferraris round. There's front wing damage. Lucky as well. Lucky is round. Into the pits for Matty. Into the pits for Felix. And into the lead for the Lotus. The Lotus, no, he was in the lead. Now he's been taken again by Devons. Devons defeats the Lotus. And Bios says bye to the win for now here on lap 2 of 63. Heading through the Villeneuve chicane, they tiptoe through as the Benetton in the background of Missile, who didn't get higher than 4th last time out in Japan before he DNF'd in spectacular fashion. But now, Devons is looking to maybe hold off the Lotus, and Missile is looking to maybe have a podium provisionally, but wide for the Brawn. That's going to put him out of shape heading down into Aqua Minerale. They have to be careful, because any little misinput here, and they will just go careering into a wall or another car. There's another yellow flag out. Not too sure who's for. It's for Felix. The Ferrari of Felix has had a little bit of a fail through turn 3, and he now heads into the Villeneuve chicane, and at the track that Gilles Villeneuve last raced at before he tragically passed away. The Ferrari having a bit of a spin there, not very nice at all. Meanwhile, the closest battle on track is still roaring. Fastest lap of the race for Devons. I don't think they'll be able to defend though from the Lotus. DRS isn't available until next lap, because the detection zone is on the last corner. So as they go down the straight to end this lap and start the next lap, they head out of turn 3. The Lotus still trying to bear down the neck of the McLaren. As apparently this car here, it's a Red Bull, and that will explain why it looks a bit blue. So actually, all that stuff I said about Lotus, forget about it. So the Red Bull. So this is like a 2009 championship battle then in that case. The Red Bull versus the Brawn. Sebastian Vettel versus no, it was Mark Webber versus Jenson Button in 2009, but now it's Bios versus Devons. There's a swap of positions as Matty and the Jordan, the winner from Japan, pits. The Lotus looking to maybe hunt down the Brawn. Missile behind that as well. The third and fourth place men are both separated by 5 seconds. Then lucky, about a second half behind his teammate. The Red Bull though looking to go past the Brawn car. Can he maybe get the move done? Another fastest lap set here on lap 4. But he does. Oh, there's no DRS because it's in the rain, isn't it? I just realised that. So we head through turn 3. The Red Bull Squamish heading out of turn 3. And the car that took pole position in real life F1 today in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Formula 1 is now trying to hunt down the Brawn car in retro racing. There's been 2 offs. One of them was for Missile nearly spinning. The other one was for Timman, who has had a bit of a treacherous spin. And now he's got his teammate bearing down his neck as well. Both Mercedes very close to each other. Meanwhile, Phoenix, Matty struggling. The closest battle on track still being this battle with the Red Bull and the Brawn. Devons versus Bryce. Missile gets a penalty, the third driver in the race to get a penalty. As Red Bull obviously partnering with Ford next season, who, as I mentioned, have a lot of championships in the late 60s, early 70s era of F1. So looking to come back strong next year in 2026, but can Red Bull use their current power unit in retro racing, the spec Renault engine used in the game? And can he use it to great effect to get past the other Renault engine, Brawn? Yes, he can. He's to the inside. The Red Bull looking to get out of the Brawn. The Brawn hangs it around the outside. Classy move by the Brawn, but will it pay off as they head into the Villeneuve chicane? Turn 4 and 5. That's side by side. That's risky stuff. They're ice skating through turn 4 and 5. The Brawn goes wide. That invites the Red Bull around the outside. Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. It's a bit messy. They're side by side. They've got through it cleaner than me and Gaggles were able to do in ALR Season 2. And the Red Bull gets past the Brawn in a beautifully executed move. Got messy at times, but in the end, after a long struggle, the Red Bull got the move done. Or did he? He's thrown it all away as he's had a slide through Aqua Minerale, and the Brawn gets back past through. Ross Brawn grins in delight. Christian Horner looks in disappointment again, although he might be looking to smile again as the Red Bull goes back past the Brawn. The energy drinks company gets back past Ross Brawn's £1 dream team. And they touch again as there's yellow flags again. Not too sure who for. But meanwhile, the Red Bull, who's won, I think 7 Constructors' Championships in Formula 1, has now been passed by its title rival in 2009. And the order of the Brawn and the Red Bull is the same as it was in 2009. As the Brawn gets ahead of the Red Bull. And the Red Bull, though, looking to the inside again of the Villeneuve chicane. And Gilles Villeneuve, if he was watching this, he would even be scared as they head through the chicane that's named after the legendary Ferrari driver. But the Red Bull stays ahead of the Brawn. But can the Brawn just keep the car in a straight line for as long as he can? As the Ferrari wearing a Senna helmet in the Ferrari. As we head through into the chicane with turtle curbs. As Matty's out, the Jordan retires. As Jordan hearts sink, and it's another DNF for a Jordan team, which is now known as Aston Martin. And another league racing DNF for that team. Earlier on it was in Prime Racing League and F1 24 with myself driving, and now it's with Matty, and obviously Aston Martin would become Jordan after an array of name changes. So in a way, a sim racing night to forget for the Aston Martin / Jordan squad. Heading now down as the Red Bull getting squirmy in the background. The Brawn staying in front. So obviously you can, and the Red Bull again. You can see the Red Bull in the background just dancing around. As yeah, the Red Bull looking like, doesn't look like he's on wings. It looks like he's on other stuff. It looks like he's on rich energy. Anyway, as there's off there for the Benetton of Mistel, as Lewis has hit the gravel. Pause for laughter. As we head through Toza with Mistel, otherwise known as Lewis Hit. Do you get the joke now? As we head out of Toza with Lewis Hit, who's gone off the grass and hit a couple daisies. And now Lucky Timman looking to jump the Benetton. There's a yellow flag again. What's that for? It looks like maybe for, not for Fenix, as Fenix comes into the pits, serving a penalty it looks like. That's a long hold for the penalty. Now the pit's finally for Fenix, who gets off the... He's on dry tyres! Fenix on dry tyres. Very important for this race. Let me just get the detail up of the tyre graphic. Medium tyres for Fenix. He's going to be the guinea pig for everyone else now. If he becomes the fastest driver on track, if his name tag goes purple, then Fenix will most definitely be the guinea pig in deciding when everyone else pits, and DRS is enabled. Fenix could get back into this race. Mistel in the pits. Lucky doesn't pit. The Mercedes doesn't pit. This is the crossover point, I would say. I think Lucky's made a mistake in missing the pits there. I think he has. I hate to say it, but the Benetton and the Ferrari looks like they've made the right choice. It looks like they have made the right choice as they head through the chicane. The Brawn and the Red Bull both looking like they're going to have to dive into the pits here and make a stop. As heading through the Ravazza corners into the pits for the Brawn. Does the Red Bull come into the pits? Yes, he does. Does Timman come into the pits? We'll see later on. Lucky didn't come into the pits, and he's regressing it by going on the grass. As into the pits for the Red Bull. As hard tyres for the Brawn, hard tyres for the Red Bull. 5th and 6th placemen on mediums, 3rd and 4th placemen on inters, 1st and 2nd placemen on hards, otherwise known as prime tyres for this race. Interesting. As there's the Mercedes. Both Mercedes are going to have to come in now. There's the other Mercedes crawling to the pits. And he gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Lucky. Being unlucky. As that means the Benetton's going to undercut both Mercedes here by doing that early stop. Very nice strategy there by Mistel. Let's just check if Fenix as well. Could he maybe catch from the Mercedes? He's a bit far back. Let me turn the track map on, that would help. The Mercedes are those black dots on the straight near closest to the one. And as you can see, Fenix not really close to them. This other dot here, this slightly greyer dot, this is the Red Bull that you're looking at now, which I thought was a Lotus, but it turns out to be a Red Bull. I feel like that shade of orange might need to be changed to more of a shade of yellow, but enough with the artistic criticism. Timmen still on the inters. That seems like a strategy mistake by Mercedes, and I have to say they are quite prone to it. They have been quite prone to it over the last few years, especially even in their dominant era in 2016. As I've just got word that there's someone who could potentially be joining Retro Racing, someone who runs MCL and someone who I've raced with a lot in here. His name is Lando, otherwise known as Exact Max. You might know him in the chat. So yeah, I've invited him, so maybe see his car on the grid sometime soon. But meanwhile, back to the action. Timmen missing the pits again. Why is he doing this? Does he know something that we don't know, or is he is he allergic to pitting? Not too sure. But it's interesting. And someone's off. The Benetton of Mistel missiles it into the wall and kisses the Rolex barrier. Does he have damage? Looks like no for the moment, but he's definitely damaged his chance at racing with Timman, who's still out on those inters, which is something that I cannot comprehend. The Ferrari of Phoenix absolutely pushing. DXR CS has left the session. He would have been the Williams driver if I'm not mistaken. He was the Williams driver in Japan who, if you don't remember, caused chaos in Japan, but with his blue flags. There's Lando. It looks like he's joining the server. So we'll see his car next time out in round 3 of this league on Saturday the 27th of September. As also an interesting thing today, an interesting event that's happening today and tomorrow is the Watergate Base Sprint, which I did have an opportunity to go and commentate at, but I unfortunately couldn't due to transport reasons. But I'm hoping to hopefully help out at the Riley Car Rally for the Plymouth Motor Club. As meanwhile, Timman finally pits onto dry tyres, as he finally does see some sense in dry tyres. Bit of a late call, I must say. As now Lucky behind the Benetton, who now is back ahead of the Mercedes. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So the Watergate Base Sprint is happening today. I'm hoping to help out the Riley Car Rally as the Ferrari gets ahead of Timman, as the man who's 6 places ahead of Timman, Devons, who's just at the fastest lap again. Yeah, the Watergate Base Sprint, that's happening today and tomorrow. There's the Riley Car 12 car rally for the Plymouth Motor Club, which is happening on Halloween, which I might be able to help out with, might not be able to though. As also, I've been lucky enough to be invited to Brands Hatch to do an 8-hour race, a 500-minute race known as the Enduro Car 500. And if you're wondering what the car means, it means Ford car, as in the 2004 road car known as Ford car, as in KA. It's quite mental. 500 minutes of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit in these kind of classic, I guess, touring cars, but not touring cars as in not British Touring Car Championship cars, but as in just kind of road cars that you tour around public areas in. Pardon me. But we head through turn 3 into the Villeneuve chicane with the Mercedes. But yeah, if I can find a way to stream the event or make a video of it, then I will, and I'll let you all know if you are interested in that. So, as Lando asking if we should make a team and drive for it, I would like to stay on the commentary side for this, but don't mind running a team with you, depending on if we can run a team or not, because there is a lot of teams on the grid already. A lot of teams that I can read to you now, known as Ferrari, Brawn, Red Bull, Mercedes, Benetton, Jordan, which is unfortunately retired from the session today, McLaren, Williams, Renault is in here, Jordan, as I said. So yeah, there's a lot of competition. So if you can make a team, that would be good. If you can't, I wouldn't be surprised, because that does look like a lot of teams. Meanwhile, it looks like there's some commotion going on here. I think Timman's about to be lapped by the Brawn of Devons. Now, I wouldn't normally be too excited about this, but given what happened with DXRSC in the last race in Japan, a blue flag could maybe change the entire complexion of the race, but ghosting's on, which has ruined all the fun and entertainment off of it. So, meanwhile, Timman's teammate, Lucky, well, that's an unlucky one, isn't it? He's around at the Villeneuve chicane, and he's now heading into Toza, a bit further back from Mistel than he would like to be. The Red Bull, though, he's keeping Devons honest in terms of the gap. He's not letting him run too far away. But it looks like he's just going for a stage of managing his tyres, just getting through the race until the end stint, where he does really need to push. So we head up into Veritella with the Red Bull and the Brawl